selling the crops for ourselves, our goods have to be sold cheaper to the French. Then the French would trade it back home in Europe to make profit. That caused us Vietnamese to become second-rate citizens in our country. It's just so unfair.
And do you know the amount of land us pheasants have decreased? 1,930.7% of Vietnam's pheasants did not have land due to taxes and debt.
Hey, have you read this month's political research paper? It says that the French imposing of taxes have monopolized on the sale of salt, opium, and alcohol and raised their prices 5 times in 10 years. As the price of salt increased, it caused the poor to suffer, especially fishermen who used it to preserve fish. And the poll tax.
To have the poll tax.
Quiet, I want to listen.
The poll tax being imposed means that the poor have to pay the same amount as the rich, and although France dominated business and hold most of the wealth, they only paid 9,000 piasters a year in personnel taxes, but us Vietnamese pay 5 million piasters. Moreover, us Vietnamese have to pay 50% more for alcohol, as the French only sold it in bottles. Every province is assigned how much alcohol they have to buy, and us Vietnamese are prohibited from distilling our own.
That isn't the only problem. The French also neglected the education system that caused the literacy rate to fall. That's why the school population was just 70,000 in 1924. Vietnam also has a poor healthcare system now.
Then a certain man came into the picture to change this all. Ho Chi Minh was born in a village in central Vietnam, his family being only slightly better off than the others in the village. His father influenced him in his thinking of the French. In 1921, he joined the French Communist Party. 3 years down the road, he joined the Committee of Soviet Union, an organization hoping to spread communism. In 1930, Ho established the Communist Party of Vietnam. The Japanese invaded Vietnam.
We have to take actions against Japan. The Japanese have surrendered, and thus from this day on, Vietnam is a free country. I declare Vietnam an independent country.
Passive it! France still refused to recognize their independence. They had to fight the French. Ho Chi Minh, believing in the Americans' idea of equality, sought their help but was ignored. In the end, it was with the help of the Soviet Union, or Russia, that Vietnam drove the French out. France surrendered in 1954. This was why Ho Chi Minh decided to adapt the Russia's ideology into what we call communism.
What is communism, you ask? Communism is a system of government. It ensures that everyone in the society it is practiced in is equal. In this society, no one is the ruler. There are no social classes, no rich, no poor. In such a society, we are truly one equal nation.
But Mr. Ho, wasn't the land reform program carried out in the north of Vietnam a failure? The program confiscated land from landlords to distribute to the poor, but the communist leadership dictated that 5% of the rural population were landlords and thus were punished. Thousands have also died following the later events in this program.
That is an error has to be addressed. It was a failure, as you have said, but it was only an initial failure. Furthermore, there are many positive aspects in communism that we cannot overlook. An example is the tax reforms. Communism's influence in the tax reform results in the abolishment of the hated salt, alcohol and opium monopolies. Poll tax is replaced with income tax, so that the poor do not have to pay as much taxes as the rich. This eventually balances off the financial state of our society so that in the end, there will be no rich or poor.
Later, he was the founder and president of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam from 1945 till his death in 1969.